out here at Beachwood today, which certainly is a very beautiful piece of property. The citizens of Half Moon Bay now own Beachwood. How we ended up owning Beachwood is a very long story, and who's responsible, I do not know. What I do know is how the City Council paid for Beachwood and how the decisions made turned into a harrowing tale that could have ended up with our city being bankrupted. And that story starts up in San Francisco. So here we are at Oric, Harrington, and Sutcliffe. Oric was originally hired to handle our appeal of the Beachwood judgment. For some reason, that didn't happen. Then they became our lobbyists and went to Sacramento and tried to get Beachwood exempted from the Coastal Act. That didn't fly. Then they became our negotiator and were able to reduce the judgment from $34 million down to $18 million. Next, they became our bond counsel. And the first thing they did was recommend Piper Jaffray. Now the reason our city came to Piper Jaffray is that Piper Jaffray had the money. The City Council decided to use Build America bonds, which are meant for creating jobs, versus using judgment obligation bonds, which are meant for paying off judgment obligations. The upside for this was we got a slightly higher subsidy from the federal government to pay for the interest, and we didn't have to start paying on the principal for 16 years. The downside is that we paid $150,000 more in fees and are paying a substantially higher interest rate over the term of the loans. For 3 years we were led to believe that all was well, and that's the end of the story. What the City Council didn't tell us is that they were under investigation by the IRS. In 2009, Piper Jaffray addressed the risk the City Council was taking in the prospectus it put together for the bond package, which the City Council signed off on. In 2010, Oric informed the city that we were at risk of being investigated by the IRS for our use of Build America bonds to buy Beachwood. We were not told about this. In 2011, the IRS notified our City Council that we were under investigation for our use of Build America bonds. We were not told that either. In 2012, all of this was disclosed to us at a City Council meeting. The mayor asserted that this could have bankrupted our city, and that we were so upset with the advice that we got from our advisors Piper Jaffray and Oric that we were ready to sue for malpractice. And that's how we paid for Beachwood. Now the IRS was merciful. We did not bankrupt the town, and nobody's been held account for the decisions that were made. And who is responsible for this story turning into a harrowing tale? Well, it's not Piper Jaffray and it's not Oric. They did what they're paid to do. And it wasn't the IRS. They showed us quite a bit of mercy. Now the responsibility lies with our City Council for the decisions that were made that could have bankrupted our city. Councilman John Mueller, who was mayor at the time the choice was made to use Build America bonds, has publicly stated he had no questions as to whether this was proper. And our mayor, on the other hand, has been quoted as saying that we were considering suing for malpractice over the advice we were given. Now what is in that advice, I can't tell you because they won't share it with us. What I can tell you is that Piper Jaffray disclosed to everybody that there was a risk in using Build America bonds in this manner. Yet our City Council signed off on it anyways. I think you would have had questions about both the legality and the ethics of using Build America bonds, which were made to create jobs at a time people really needed jobs, to pay for a judgment. And I know I would have, and that's why I want to run for City Council. Thanks for watching.